Okay, you guys, welcome back to the How to Self-Publish Your Book course. And in this here video, you all, I'm going to show you how to publish your book. Okay, this is the publishing phase. So make sure that you are listening up. So the very first thing is you're going to want to go to kdp.amazon.com. It'll bring you to this page right here you see in front of you. Just going to scroll down. This is my page here. Okay, it'll look something like that. So the very first thing that you're going to want to do when you come to this site here is you are going to log in with your Amazon username and password. Once you log in, or you create your account rather, it'll allow you to go ahead and click on this huge yellow button right here that says plus create. Okay, once you click on that button there, it'll take you to this page right here. Okay, at the top you'll see paperback details, paperback content, and then paperback rights and pricing. These are the three sections that you are going to complete, and it's fairly self-explanatory as we go through them together. I'll show you what you can expect. So we'll start with the paperback details here. And the first thing is going to ask you to make sure that your language is in English, if that's what you would like. Then, of course, you're going to type your book title right here in this first block. If you do have a subtitle, here's the box that you want to go ahead and type that subtitle in. All right. Okay, once you get down to the series portion and the edition number, you don't necessarily have to fill those areas out. So you can keep those blank. All right. When you get to the author section, go ahead and type your name in there because you are the author, okay? If you do have any contributors who added to your book that you would like to give recognition to, this is the area right here where you would go ahead and add their name. And as you can see, you can add more than one name. There's the add another button, okay? Once you scroll down, you'll come to the description category box right here. Now, in this box right here, what you're going to want to do is you're going to take that book blurb information that you received from the person who did your book blurb from the Fiverr site that we talked about earlier, and you're going to copy it and paste it right inside of this box right here. That way you don't have to recreate anything. You can copy and paste it right in there and it'll be perfect. Okay? Once you scroll down to the book rights section, you're going to get two categories. I own the copyright and I hold necessary publishing right. And then this is a public domain work. You're going to want to select the very first one. I own the copyright and I hold necessary publishing rights. Okay. Next is the primary audience. This section basically wants to make sure that they categorize your book properly for the right age group, okay? And so it says, does the book's cover or interior contain sexually explicit images, or does the book's title contain sexually explicit language? Yes or no, okay? Then down here, you want to go ahead and put your age range for the books, for your book, as you believe that the minimum age should be and the maximum. I just started with 12 and I put 18. Okay, as you scroll down to the primary marketplace section, you're going to want to select the Amazon.com. You'll see a ton of options here, but the one that you want is the very first one, Amazon.com. Okay, the next one is the categories. All right, so in this section here, you're going to add your title's current categories. All right, so if you want to edit it, you can always go in and change your categories. Now, this section right here is very important just because this area is going to help your reader to be able to search your book and be able to find it. So you want to make it as easy as possible for them as you're selecting your category, okay? So here you're going to select your main category in this drop down. Sorry, it won't let me. Let me see if I uncheck these first. Okay, This is going to be your main category. So you're going to make sure that you scroll through here until you find one that meets your actual book's category best, just to the best of your ability, okay? And then after you make that selection, it's going to prompt you to include your subcategory if you have a subcategory, okay? If you don't have one, I don't think that it'll stop you from go ahead and selecting these additional placements over here. So just gonna do like that. All right. And then after, I think I'm gonna select 3. Okay, because it does allow you to select up to 3 different categories. And I'm going to go back in here and I'm going to edit this information for sure so that it aligns with my book title, Inspiration 103, which is going to come out later this winter. But for you, you're going to make sure that you select the best category you feel is necessary, and so that it's searchable so that your reader doesn't have any complications with trying to find your book. Okay. And so after you hit your limit of 3 selection, it will not let you add any more. You're going to go ahead and you're going to save those categories. Okay. Now later on, if you want to go back in, like I said, you can always edit them. All right. So here it's going to ask you, does your book classify as any of these types? If you have a low content book, that means it's a journal or a notebook, a planner, something like that. And if you have a large print book, where the content is 16-point font or greater, a lot of times you'll see that in the children's books, things like that, you're going to check one of these 2 boxes right here. If neither one of those applies to you, then just go ahead and skip that area. Now down here, this section is just as important as up here where you selected your categories, because again, your keywords are words that are going to kind of touch on whatever your title is about, whatever your book is about, that's going to make it pop so that people, as they're searching for your book, whether your book is about, like, for example, since mine is inspiration, some might say that it's connected to mindfulness or maybe self-help or hope or productivity or just inspirational books for men and women. Okay, so these are the areas that you're going to fill out, and you get to choose up to 7 keywords that describe your book. Okay, and so these areas are very important for you to make sure that you are choosing some good keywords here. And if you click on this here, it says search keywords help reader find your book when they browse the Amazon site. You can enter keywords or short phrases that describe your book and are relevant to its content. The best keywords are those that do not repeat words in the title, category, or description. So you're going to want to make sure that you're not saying what's exactly in the title, but you're using words that are synonymous to the title so that it just kind of reduces any kind of complication with them finding your book. Okay. And also the category or description, as these are already used to help the reader find your book. Okay. Make sure you use all 7 of these blocks, because the more keywords you have, the better. All right. So as you go down a little bit further, publication date, I just want to explain to you what these mean. So the publication date and release date are the same. That is one choice right there. Or you may decide you're going to choose my book was previously published. Now for the majority of you, whereas this is your first time around, you're going to select this very first one. Publication date and release date are the same. Okay. If you scroll down to the release date here, the first option here is release my book for sale now. Now, what that means is that covers down on pre-orders. A lot of times you'll see people selling their book before their actual book is released. This allows your purchaser to purchase, say, for instance, if you have an ebook for sale, they can gain access to that information almost immediately off of Amazon. But if they actually want a physical copy of your book, then they would not be able to get their hands on that until your actual book has been released. And that is going to be on this date here that you select for yourself. You get to choose that date yourself. Okay. That works out pretty well when you have social media and you are promoting your book and you're kind of gearing things up so that you can get as many people to purchase your book on a particular day, that helps to get you at the Amazon bestsellers list as well. So you definitely want to give yourself that time to be able to prepare and make sure that you get the word out to everybody that this is when my book is coming out, and I want you to prepare. Not to forget also, all of these pre-order sales that you get ahead of time before your actual book's official release date, they count toward your bestseller status. Okay, so just keep that in mind. When we go on to the next page here, we're just going to save and continue. And so next is going to take us to the paperback content. So the very first option you're going to get is to print your ISBN. And Amazon actually does offer you a free KDP ISBN. This is what I use just to take some of the complication out of things. But if you already have purchased a separate ISBN from another source, then this is the option you would choose, okay? So you're going to go ahead and click on the Assign Me a Free KDP ISBN, okay? As you scroll down, you go to the print options. Now, these are the options that Amazon offers for you to choose for your book. Normally, I'll just go with the standard black and white interior with white paper option. But as you can see, they also have the black and white interior with cream paper. They have the standard color interior with white paper, and then the premium color interior with the white paper. I know my last book, Inspiration 102, I did go with the color interior because I wanted my book to pop, not only on the outside, but on the inside. When my readers opened up my book, I wanted it to have a pop of color, so I went with the color. Okay. Then down here a little bit further, you are going to go with your trim size. Now, they've got different options here when you select it for sure. Okay. And you're going to have to decide which one suits you best. I personally like the 6x9. I've gone with that my last two books, but you are welcome to choose whatever one suits you best. Okay. As for the bleed settings, most times you can keep it to no bleed unless you have a special preference to have the bleed, which is PDF option only. And then the paperback cover finish, either matte or glossy. So when you think of matte, just think of sort of a dry look. But when you think of glossy, naturally it's going to have more of a shine to it, a light shine to it. So I have had both. My first one was in glossy and the second one was in matte. It's got sort of like a velvety feel to it, the touch of it. So I really like that. And I think I'm going to stick with the matte personally, but both options are there for you. So as you scroll down a little bit further, now this is the area where you're going to have the opportunity to go ahead and upload your manuscript. This is all the information that you have worked with your editor, your formatter, and whatnot to make sure that you have gotten your content up to perfection and ready for upload. This is the button you're going to select to go ahead and upload the actual paper manuscript itself, okay? And then when you go down just a little bit, you'll see the book cover itself. Now, these two are two separate documents. Now, I know naturally you would assume that the manuscript includes the cover, but it does not. So when you think of the cover, that's the front and the back, and that's its own separate file, which your formatter is going to, your person who actually created your cover page for you and the back page, they're going to provide you with that document. And with that document, you're going to upload it right here. If you have any issues with sizing and anything overlapping as you get ready to upload, then that is the person you're going to want to go back to and say, or give them a screenshot of what's happening on Amazon KDP so that they can adjust your cover page accordingly. Because what's going to happen on this site is it's going to require that certain dimensions of your cover are met. And if it is not, it's going to reject the file. So you'll just be in regular communication with your cover person that you choose to make sure that everything gets accepted and is no problem. If you do pick somebody who has been doing it for a long time, a lot of times they'll already know what Amazon KDP requirements are. And so you shouldn't have very many issues at all. If anything, it will be probably very minor. Okay. And then from there, there's an option here where it says AI generated content. This says, did you use AI tools in creating text, images, and or translations in your book? In my case, I did not, so I'm going to select no. Okay. And then from that point, this is where you're actually going to be able to click on Launch Preview. All right. And so when you click on Launch Preview, it is going to give you an idea of what your book looks like. And as you go through each page, depending on, as you go through each page, you're going to look at it with a fine-tooth comb. Just flip through, make sure that you don't have any empty pages that you don't want to be empty. You want to make sure things look good because what you see is what your reader is going to see. Okay. So if there are discrepancies, don't just upload it and assume that Amazon KDP is going to fix it for you. No, when you click Launch Previewer, what you see is exactly what's going to be published. So you definitely, if you have questions, Amazon KDP customer service is amazing, and they are so good at helping you if you do have questions, because I think they want to make sure that you are happy as well. You want to make sure that your readers get the very best of you, okay? And if you make mistakes, don't worry. There's always a way to go back and make edits to your manuscript at a later date, but in the beginning, you want to try to correct as many things as you possibly can, okay? Before you go ahead and publish your book, okay? So let me see if it allows me to save. Okay. All right. So this is, let me see. Okay, so it wants me to upload the manuscript and the actual launch cover creator, which is fine, no problem. So I'll just kind of talk you through the final category here, which is the paperback rights and pricing. This merely is the page where you're going to set your pricing of your book, okay, in US dollar format, okay, and you save it from that point. And after you save it from that point, that is pretty much it. You're going to have to wait a while, about 72 hours before your book actually becomes live, okay? And if you would like to order author copies, I want to say that those are about $2.50 each. And we'll go back to the bookshelf page. So just an idea over here where it says order author copies. So if I click on that there, as though I'm going to order a few copies of my Inspiration 102 handbook, I'm going to type however many I want in here. Okay, let's just say I'm going to order 3 copies. And I'm going to go Amazon.com. Add to cart. It's going to take me over here and it's going to show you here $5.13. So I'm just going to go back. So that does put us around about $2.30 or so. So they're not very much. And up front, I want to say, let me go back. Okay, let's see. You'll see some additional areas up here for you if you just kind of want to scroll through. Read these details just to make sure. If you have, well, we won't get around to the series just yet, not in this one. But if your book is a part of a series and it's not a single book in and of itself, then there is an option for you to actually add to a series, okay? But in most of you all cases, this is going to be the first time around. So the first one obviously is not a series, but if it's going to be a part of a series, then it's going to be naturally part 1, okay? 1 of 3 or 1 of 2 or whatever that is, okay? So let's see. So for the most part, that is it. You can order as many author copies as you want to right away. I think I ordered maybe 30 copies just to have on hand in case anybody wanted to buy them from me. If you do make an error after you submit to Amazon KDP for approval, you can very easily resubmit your manual. or call Amazon KDP Help Desk. Like I said, they are super helpful and they can help you navigate through this site that much easier, okay? So like I say, with your proof that you get mailed out, you can request a proof copy as well. I was looking for it. It would usually be on this right-hand side. When you have a brand new book, there's an option for proofs to come out. And on those proofs, there will be sort of like a banner at the top that says not for resale, okay? So what the proof is for, it is, oh, here it is here, I'm sorry, request printed proofs, okay? And I don't think those are very expensive at all. If anything, it may be like $1 or $2, something like that. And it's merely for you to be able to have the physical book in your hand and to be able to truly get a feel and a look of how it's going to be as before your reader gets it in their hand. Naturally, they're not going to have the banner. It is strictly for you to be able to flip through and make sure that you don't see anything wrong with it that you want to correct about it. So I would highly recommend you get a proof. I always get proofs for mine because as you flip through it with a fine-tooth comb, sometimes you do notice things. And if you see something off, like for example, my last book on the back cover, I noticed that some of the text was covering the barcode, which allowed it to be rejected in Amazon KDP, and it wasn't allowed to be published because it was covering it. And so with that being said, I reached back out to my cover person and he was able to adjust that information for me so that when I uploaded it back into Amazon KDP, it went through with no problems, okay? So I believe that is it for the most part, you guys. And just going to scroll through here. But again, if you have any other questions about loading your content into this site, make sure that you do reach out to Kindle Direct Publishing, which is their, it says Kindle Direct Publishing, but it also, you know, that means it covers down for both. If you have a book in Kindle or if you have it directly published, which is in paperback, they'll cover anything that you need. So all you have to do is, I want to say scroll down here and they will have like a community space for you. Let me see if I can find it. But there is an area. You may have to just Google KDP Amazon customer support and then their phone number and you reach out to them. And for the most part, I notice they'll get back to you in less than 10 minutes. So that is all we have for publishing your book on the kdp.amazon site. And so thank you for sticking around and I'll see you in the next module.